Apparently, we're testing a tactic today that is perfect for the Italian leagues, and it has Mourinho in there as well. So let's check it out. So I'm not sure if the name changed somewhere between the time I subscribed to the tactic on the Steam Workshop and the time I started recording. However, as you can see, the name of this tactic is the 532 DMAMWB structured. But if you now go to the Steam Workshop, it is called the 532 AM Mourinho structured. So the name changed at some point. I don't know when. However, you can see on the Steam Workshop that it does look like it is a Mourinho tactic by someone named Strider. We have definitely seen him before in FM23. His description is, my favorite tactic in FM, goes perfectly for Italian teams. You can experiment with player roles instead of a roaming regista, a simple deep playmaker, for example. Don't forget to check your set pieces and use the right players. There's a little bit more, but as always, any tactic you use, you can download them, plug them in, but no tactics are real plug and plays anymore. You really need to get the players molded into these individual spots. So with that in mind, you have a goalkeeper in defend, you have ball playing defenders on the left and the right, a central defender in the central spot, wing backs on the left and the right in attack, a segundo volante in support next to a regista in support, an attacking midfielder in the attacking midfield spot, central spot, and a target forward next to a pressing forward. It is positive mentality, custom vertical tiki-taka. In possession, you got a fair bit there. Pass into space, overlap on the left and right, focus play down the middle, play out of defense. Passing directness is shorter, tempo is standard. Final third, mixed crosses, work the ball in the box, play for set pieces, and be more expressive. And if this seems a little bit familiar, we did cover another structure, I believe it was a 5-2-2-1. So we have seen something similar, just different shape. But in transition, counter press, counter, distribute to the back line, take short kicks, and then out of possession, a high press line of engagement, a standard defensive line, leaving a pretty sizable midfield. Trigger press much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, drop off more, and trap inside. So again, we have covered this a little bit to a similar degree, and it is by the same person who did the 5-2-2-1 DM-AM structured. So obviously, with similar names, it's going to be fairly similar in the tactic itself. But how did this one do? The 5-3-2 for Liverpool and Aston Villa in the Premier League. And then we'll hit off to Ipswich Town in the Championship next. Not too bad. 73 points for Liverpool in fourth place, definitely down from where they're supposed to be. 85 points is around where, the baseline for them. Aston Villa in sixth with 63, not too bad there. Liverpool's schedule, they do get to the EFL Cup final against Manchester United, unfortunately lost 0-1. 3 all in penalties in the FA Cup quarters, though, against Arsenal, and you're out in both. But they are not trophyless. They do have one trophy at the UEFA Europa League final, so even if they didn't get Champions League next year, they would have with this. 2-1 over Arsenal. You did get Arsenal back there, but beaten the likes of Copenhagen, Brighton, Salzburg, not too bad. Liverpool squad views, not too bad. I'm going to assume pretty average for the most part. 30 goals, though, for Nunez is a big one. Salah with 28. Assists, 21 for Alexander-Arnold, and everyone kind of drops off from that point. Average rating, not too bad. We've definitely seen better. 7-4-0 for Adrian, though. Only one appearance, of course. 7-3-9 for Nunez, 7-2-5 for Salah. And as we switch over to Aston Villa, you can see their schedule, not too bad. Out in the fourth round of the EFL Cup against Arsenal, and then fifth round of the FA Cup, 2 all in penalties against Tottenham. They do beat Ipswich Town, though, so at least we got a little bit of a tie-in. And unfortunately, Aston Villa losing out in the Conference League quarterfinals against Bayer Leverkusen, tying at home, and then losing away 0-2. And then taking a look at their squad, 52 appearances for Martinez. That's actually low for him. 22 goals for Ollie Watkins, sort of on the low side. 12 for Diaby, definitely not doing very well as we've seen before. 17 assists for Digne, Moreno with 13. Average rating, they got a fair amount of players in there. 721 for Alex Moreno, 720 for Digne. Not too bad, but yeah, you'd like to see some of those goals and assist numbers up a bit. So seriously, I must have had a bug there because for some reason team defending here is filled out. But incredible defensively for Liverpool. As you can see, they've got a very wide array of numbers there. Attacking wise, not too bad. You'd like to see them up a bit, closer to the Premier League tops, but they do cover most things dribbles. We're definitely not seeing that in the Premier League stats. But I think Aston Villa is going to be pretty much the same. Some different numbers, some different shakes here and there, but defensively is fantastic. Premier League stats-wise, they're not really in here a lot. Most points per game, you'd expect them to be in there. Most goals, though, Liverpool, it's 79 in third place. Aston Villa in fifth with 69. But everything else, fewer shots against in most possession, they're kind of on the average side. But everything else, they're just not here. Very similar in the player stats themselves. Most goals, Ollie Watkins and Salah in there. Most assists, Digne and Alexander on the top. Moreno in there as well. Player of the match awards, Martinez. But overall, I mean, they're low. If they're there at all, Digne with most key passes down in the in the list. Ollie Watkins with most shots in the list. So far, we're not seeing the greatest of tactics when it comes to these three teams, and again, or two teams. And again, this is just a flat sim. This is nothing against the tactic itself or the tactic maker. This is how the tactic worked in this sim. If you took control, you could do a much better job, and I'm sure a lot of these numbers would rise a bit. But this is just kind of a baseline of what you may see. And if you're a good player and you know what you're doing to a degree, this all can raise a bit. Heading to the championship side of Ipswich Town, unfortunately, they sit in 11th. They've got 66 points. 88 goals is not too bad, but you've got a lot of teams ahead of you in that. EFL Cup 4th round against Tottenham, 1-1 in penalties. That's actually not a bad game there, but that is where you lose at. We saw against Aston Villa, they did not do all that well. FA Cup 4th round, I mean, 1-1 is, again, pretty nice, but then they lose 2-3 in the 4th round replay. And looking at the Greens here in average rating, I'm not sure what we're expecting. 27 goals for Hurst, fantastic. 14 for Jackson, not too bad. Assist-wise, 12 for West Burns. Hurst was 7. Average rating, only 3. Hurst, Burns, and Donacian. So, I mean, you got a couple, but definitely you want a bunch more to get up there in the league. 11th place is not a fantastic spot for you. And as we look at the stats for the championship, really nothing there. I mean, you've got some goals and some possession. That's about it. There's really nothing else here. Hurst with most goals. You got Hutchinson with most assists. But yeah, I mean, again, not a lot here that you're dealing with. So unfortunately, you got Hurst in there a couple of times, but it just didn't seem to work for this team especially. But recapping a bit, again, in this save, it just didn't work, unfortunately. Again, you can do a lot better if you take control of yourself. Man City at 88 points is probably hard to reach, but, I mean, if you're really good, easily. But 73 points, you could definitely pit Manchester United. You could possibly get to Arsenal. I mean, it's only a couple matches that you really need to play well in and do well in. But the players just need to boost up a little bit more and get some more stats, get some more goals, get some more assists, things like that. But that is it for me, Sefian FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.